CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight at City Hall, where more than a year after issuing a strong mayor directive, Josh Morgan's proposal to turn municipal parking lots into high-density housing seems to have hit a dead end. With more on tonight's developments, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Uncertainty about the severity of coal tar contamination beneath this parking lot at Rideout and Horton might have derailed Mayor Josh Morgan's proposal for high-density housing on the site, but Londoners might never know the exact reasons. The committee spent an hour and a half in a closed-door confidential session, and when they emerged, the public debate at least hinted at concerns about a complex and costly cleanup of the coal tar that might lead to legal and environmental liability.
My reason for previous support was around shovel readiness, and this to me now speaks to another level of involvement through this report.
Does that include questions about liability sharing, responsibility for further cleanup?
An environmental report, a more comprehensive review of the subject lands.
A coal gasification plant operated at Horton and Rideout until 1939.
I see huge potential in this, but we're never going to know until we move forward with it.
In September 2024, Morgan used his strong mayor powers to order a review of municipal core area parking lots for potential residential development. The lots at 133 Rideout and 84 Horton Street were shortlisted, and 3 developers expressed interest.
I still think that there is some creative solutions that we could do with this site, and I want to see what options we could have with it.
It's not going to preclude us from doing something further later, but this is a complex property.
Ultimately, the committee voted 11-4 to take no further action on the mayor's direction.
The implications of that is it will continue to be a surface parking lot for the foreseeable future. It'll continue to remain capped. For me, I voted today because I'm willing to hear the proposals.
Even though all of the other municipal parking lots originally considered have also been dropped for one reason or another from consideration, the mayor is not accepting this as a failure.
There are more opportunities we might bring forward in the future, so we just haven't found a viable one yet, but that doesn't mean that there isn't city property out there that can be properly developed for residential intensification.
Council will make a final decision on January 20th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
London police say they're investigating the city's first homicide of 2026. They responded to a reported stabbing in the Old East Village last night, finding a victim who did not survive and no suspect. Jerry Dewan reports.
London police say they received multiple 911 calls around 10:30 Monday evening.
Officers arrived shortly thereafter and located an adult male in a hallway of an apartment building.
The focus of the investigation is this complex at the corner of Dundas and Hewitt in the Old East Village.
Officers attempted life-saving measures on that male, and he was transported to London Health Sciences Centre, where unfortunately he succumbed to his injuries and has since died.
Residents who live near the building where the stabbing took place say it consistently attracts the attention of police.
It's getting ridiculous how much crime's going on there, like the shooting in there because of drug deals goes on.
Nicholas Jeffrey has lived just a couple of doors south of 745 Dundas for about 5 years. He was watching hockey when he heard a commotion.
I heard like screaming, and then all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of sirens.
The building does have surveillance cameras on site, and police continue to gather other evidence.
As with any investigation, surveillance footage, video cameras, any dash cam photos, those all form part of the evidence collection process in terms of trying to determine exactly what happened and who is responsible for this. And that is part of obviously is part of our investigation.
At this point, police haven't released suspect information.
We are appealing to the public that if they have any information that may help us identify a suspect in this incident, to call the London Police Service or Crime Stoppers.
Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Local health officials are reporting a sharp rise in flu cases across the region, including new outbreaks in long-term care homes. The increase comes just after the holiday season, which, as Rita Ismail reports, is likely no coincidence.
Southwestern Public Health is urging residents to take action as influenza cases spike following holiday gatherings.
It's also the time of the year. And with socialization happening over the holidays, and now, because school's back and people are also getting back to work, there's also that amount of socialization that could, lead to continued a flu transmission.
Health officials say influenza A, specifically the H3N2 strain, is dominant, and cases often remain elevated into February and March.
Our most recent data shows that our percent positivity is 33.9%, about 34%. And this is still, it's the highest, it's higher than it's ever been compared to any time in the last 2 flu seasons.
Public health officials say vaccination remains the most effective way to reduce the risk of severe illness and hospitalization.
Those who are at the high risk of getting complications or being hospitalized, or those that are really, really young, like particularly like infants, or those who are seniors, who are immunocompromised, have other medical conditions, or are pregnant, it would be particularly good to get the flu shot and take other precautions.
Dr. Tran says along with getting the flu vaccine, residents are also being reminded to wash their hands frequently, cover coughs and sneezes, stay home when sick, clean high-touch surfaces, and consider wearing a mask in crowded or enclosed spaces. Health officials warn influenza can lead to serious complications.
That includes things like pneumonia and other like hospitalizations and even death.
Southwestern Public Health says flu vaccines are still available for children 5 and under, along with their guardians. Appointments can be booked online. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
To the toddler manslaughter trial at the London courthouse, where the boy's father testified today, telling the court he didn't trust the police officers investigating the case. With more on his reasons, here's Nick Paparella.
Kent McClellan continued to be grilled by the defense during cross-examination. The father of 15-month-old Nathaniel, who died after being at the home daycare of Megan Van Hoof in Strathroy in October of 2015, said something happened at the babysitters. I wanted Megan Van Hoof investigated. McClellan said over time, with no arrests, he had concerns about how police in Strathroy were handling the case. Asked if he thought officers may have been protecting the accused, he said, I knew there were certain things that were being withheld. McClellan said at the time, I said the word fix. After being rushed to hospital with a severe head injury, Nathaniel would be taken off of life support days later. It would take years for investigators to eventually charge Van Hoof. She has pled not guilty to manslaughter. Asked if the accused ruined his life, he responded, it was very traumatic for us. We had a tragedy in our lives. New witnesses are expected to be called on Wednesday. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
A new permanent addictions hub is closer to opening in Sarnia Lambton after a decade of development. With more on the facility's expected impact in the community, here's Brian Bicknell.
Lori Hicks clutches a photo of her late son, Ryan. He died from a fentanyl overdose 10 years ago at just 25 years old.
And at that point, his story was unique, I guess. And now it's everybody. It's the same story from everybody. The drugs that are out there now, the fentanyl, powder fentanyl, they're just so powerful, and addiction grabs you so fast before you realize what has happened.
Hicks was on hand as Blue Water Health announced it's proceeding to tender for construction of a permanent community addictions hub on site.
There's been too many lives lost, but I'm not focusing on that now. It's how many lives can we save with this opening and the others that are going to happen in the next year or so. That'll make a huge difference.
In 2018, Blue Water Health opened its first 7 temporary withdrawal management beds, followed by a 12-bed stabilization facility in 2021. The new permanent hub will be on the building's first 3 floors, where infrastructure renewal work has already been completed.
So that's where acute withdrawal management beds, a stay of about 7 days, and we have beds dedicated to that service. And then the program that's running right now at Ryan's house, 12 beds of the stabilization, they'll now move to this space, and then we'll have 5 additional beds, so 24 beds in total.
It's important to note that this facility is not the same thing as to provincial heart hub, which is also coming to this community. However, following their time in the addictions beds, clients will be able to transition to recovery beds within the heart hub for up to 18 months. The 27 heart hubs across Ontario will address homelessness as well as addictions recovery.
You can certainly operate a more efficient, effective service when we're all together sharing resources.
The cost of the addictions hub is expected to come in at less than $20 million. The tender process will take 90 days, then construction 18 to 24 months. For many, not a moment too soon.
Typically, we're pretty full, so we have 24 beds, and we expect to have pretty much 100% occupancy.
And that's the key with addiction. They want help now, and if we turn them away, we may never get that second chance.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Police in Bruce County say they've identified the remains of a fisherman who went missing 2 years ago. Saugeen Shores police say the remains are of Lee Jun S., who was last seen January 27, 2024. It's believed he had been fishing on the Saugeen River, where he was likely swept away in a large ice flow. Police say the remains were found along the shore back in November, and the identity was confirmed using DNA. The Prime Minister is bringing along some provincial leaders for meetings in China this week. There's hope they can make headway on relieving punishing canola tariffs. But as Abigail Beeman reports, that may come at the expense of other sectors.
The U.S. president toured a Ford factory close to our border in Detroit and gave upcoming CUSMA trade talks a shrug.
It's irrelevant to me. Canada would love it. Canada wants it. They need it. Because we don't need Canada product. That's the thing. You know, I want to be a nice person, but we don't need. I want to build the cars here, not in Canada.
Donald Trump also doesn't want cheap Chinese EVs.
Thank you so much.
And flanked by Michigan lawmakers, Ontario Premier Doug Ford urged Mark Carney not to back down on Canada's 100% tariff on them during his trip to China.
It would not be good for Ontario and Canada, and it sure the heck wouldn't be good for the U.S., and it wouldn't be good when it comes to negotiating with President Trump.
Canadian government sources say to expect some progress on punishing canola tariffs, which China slapped on in retaliation for the EVs.
They've been absolutely devastating to the industry. Well, we've lost over $1 billion Canada-wide. Frankly, just even for my farm, I'm just under $100,000 myself, and that really hurts.
But with Saskatchewan's premier now joining for some Beijing meetings.
Would you take Mo if you didn't expect some relief, some schedule of lower tariffs on canola? Probably not.
Many are wondering if that means EV concessions are on the table.
China's being very savvy in the way that it's picked areas to tariff to pit one region of the country against another. I think premiers have been very restrained in terms of their approach on this, in terms of not trying to divide the country against itself.
In a briefing ahead of the Prime Minister's China trip, federal government sources spoke of addressing trade irritants on both sides systematically, but wouldn't share details on conversations around canola or EVs. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A new survey shows many Canadians are planning cutbacks in the new year, slashing budgets to make ends meet. With more on the pessimistic expectations for 2026, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
This Italian grocery store and sandwich counter is whimsically called Tony Bologna.
So we make small batch every day.
On the menu at this father and son shop, a focus on best quality for the lowest price.
Just like I have families to feed, they have families to feed. So the goal was to make sure that people can feed their family at a low price, but without giving up quality. The pasta, we have it at $1.75 a bag. We make homemade tomato sauces, meat sauce, and rosé, and all the classics. So you could feed a family of four for $7 for a plate of pasta.
That hits the spot. A TD survey found 2/3 of Canadians say they plan to slash their monthly budgets by up to $1,000 a month. 55% say they'll cut on eating out, 44% on attending concerts, sporting events, movies. Many plan other belt-tightening measures like cutting down on subscriptions and fewer retail purchases. But it seems younger Canadians appear set to make more sacrifices. A whopping 86% of Gen Z say they're preparing to slash their budget. Compare that to 43% of boomers.
They're leaning in more into their loyalty programs, into budgeting,
and also into no spending challenges, which are becoming very popular with this younger generation.
McDonald's is vying to tap into the budget squeeze. The fast food chain is freezing the price of some menu items for a year. For instance, $5 for the Meg Value Trio. This, as a recent study found, more than 4,000 restaurants could close this year. At Tony Baloney's, father and son say people still gotta eat, and they want to feed neighborhood families well.
So that's why we even have all the ingredients here at the low price that you could go home and do it yourself if you want to.
And we'll have to see just how long Canadians will be forced to stick to that resolution to cut back. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Coming up, getting a head start on a musical career, the local teenager producing her first single. Canada's main stock index edged lower despite strength in energy stocks today. The TSX fell just 4 points in New York. The Dow lost almost 400. The Nasdaq dropped 24. The Canadian dollar is down 0.06 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold fell more than $15 an ounce. Oil gained $1.65 a barrel. President Donald Trump says help is on the way for Iranians, urging them to keep protesting despite a brutal crackdown by the ruling regime. With more on that violence and the anxiety for Iranians watching from around the world, here's Heather Wright.
These are some of the images airing on Iranian state TV, which are said to show the aftermath of nationwide protests that have been met with brutal force. For the first time, authorities have given an overall death toll, 2,000 people killed, while also blaming the United States and Israel of inciting the protests.
The young one, they will participate.
Dr. Shahram Azam knows just how ruthless the Iranian regime can be. He was a doctor in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps when in 2003, the regime arrested Canadian photojournalist Zara Kazemi, who was later brought to his hospital. He says Kazemi was missing fingernails, had a broken nose, and her skull was fractured. There were also signs of rape. She later died.
There wasn't any chance it happens by accident. At least she was beaten, if not torture.
In 2005, Azam, his wife and daughter fled to Sweden and applied for asylum in Canada. In the 2 decades since he left, he's watched protests unfold in his home country, all met with brutal force. But he says these protests, happening in both big cities and small towns, feel different.
And I hope it's the end of this brutality, this regime, and these things happening to my people.
The extent of the protests and subsequent crackdowns in Iran are difficult to gauge as internet remains cut off and phone service is spotty. Protests have also spread to cities around the world, including here in Toronto, where this afternoon members of the Iranian community gathered outside the U.S. consulate. Today, U.S. President Donald Trump told protesters in Iran that help is on the way, but declined to clarify what that means.
Trump has vowed to intervene militarily on behalf of the protesters, encouraging them to keep demonstrating. While the U.S. had previously said they wanted to find a diplomatic solution, today Trump said all meetings with Iranian officials have been canceled. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Good evening. Overcast conditions continue overnight with some light drizzle. Waking up tomorrow morning still above the freezing mark, but some flurries on the way. A pair of cold fronts coming through will bring a blast of cold air. So we'll start mild in the morning and then the temperatures start to drop off. Winds shifting at northwest. Thanks, Jamie, for this photo of Gordy out loving the snowfall. We have snow in the forecast and accumulating snow with lake effect flurries developing and the potential for some snow squalls. I'll tell you when coming up in just a few minutes.
Welcome back. Julie's on the desk with me now, and after a mild start to this week, things are changing pretty substantially into a much more wintry vibe, some colder temperatures.
Yeah, we're going to drop. We're going to see wind chills minus teens in the coming days, flurries and snow squalls ramping right back up, and we are back into a very cold winter pattern. Today was mild. It's still mild out there tonight. Carlyle, and temperatures holding above freezing overnight. Cloudy, still the chance for some very light drizzle. It's cold, it's damp, even though the temperatures are coming in above that freezing mark. Temperatures are set to dive as we head into your Wednesday. A pair of cold fronts coming in. So earlier we did have some very light precipitation, a wintry mix moving through. We had a bit of snow, some ice pellets reported out at the London airport, some gusty winds associated with a weak clipper system that's moving through. What's not weak is the cold fronts and the air associated with them that's coming in tomorrow. So overnight, temperatures holding, as I mentioned, just above freezing in most areas, anywhere from 1 to 3 degrees. A couple of colder spots, Mount Forest, you'll dip down to 0, and in and around Wyerton, the Bruce, you'll dip down to the freezing mark. Tomorrow morning, the first front comes through with a burst of snow and gusty winds. So that's round 1 coming in. Likely a couple just centimeters in London. This is not a big deal. In Midwestern Ontario, though, you could see about 2 to 4 centimeters, and through parts of central and northern areas of Huron, Perth, southern areas of Grey and Bruce County. So that'll be the front coming in. The cold air to follow. So that's the second part. Secondary front comes in. That's the blast of Arctic air. That activates the lake effect snow. Flurries coming off Lake Huron and the potential for snow squalls. So what does that mean for London? Well, if the snow squall sets up, we'll see about 10 to 15 centimeters west of London. In London, about 5 to 10 under the snow squall. That's expected to develop heading into Wednesday night. So watch as it comes in off Lake Huron. That's a good one. So just west of the city, Lambton County, Lambton Shores, you'll be right into it, and just bordering the southern part of Huron County. So they become quite localized as we head through the overnight into Thursday morning. So potential for some bus delays likely and cancellations outside of London as we head into your Thursday. All right, so what does it look like tomorrow? Well, we'll start the day with some snowfall with that first front coming in, and then the temperature drops. So this is an abnormal temperature trend. Cold front comes in, temperatures drop down to about -5 in the afternoon with northwest winds 20 with gusts to 40. Thursday, the high -10. It's going to be cold. West of London, as I mentioned, flurries and squalls. That's right along that 402, so please be aware of that. Morning squalls, there is the potential for that in London. However, if that snow squall does not lock in over the city, our snowfall amounts will be much less and will be into just flurries. On Friday, we do have another round of snow coming in at -2 on Saturday, -5 on Sunday, and -6 on Monday. Look at those overnight lows as well. It's going to be frigid in terms of January weather, a bit below normal, especially early next week. So we're settling back into winter conditions with this blast of cold coming in. Thursday will be the coldest day as we head through the weekend. And then a week today, we're down -10 for a high. Midwestern Ontario blowing snow and flurries. There'll be some rough road conditions developing, especially Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Please plan accordingly and get ready as winter makes a major return to southern Ontario. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks, Julie. Hundreds of job cuts are planned at Statistics Canada over the next 2 years, part of the federal government's efforts to slash 16,000 positions by 2029. With more on the impact for the country's flagship data agency, here's Austin Lee.
It's going to affect a lot of people with a lot of families, and I'm worried.
A somber mood at Statistics Canada headquarters Tuesday afternoon, one day after workers learned 850 jobs will be cut over the next 2 years.
We got a message from the chief statistician yesterday, kind of breaking down who's going to be affected in a vague way, but we're just waiting for emails and notifications.
Of those 850 job cuts coming, StatsCan says 100 cuts are coming immediately.
I feel it's a dark day for the public service. I think it's also a dark day for Canadians and the data that they rely on from Statistics Canada.
The government agency grew by nearly 2,000 employees between 2019 and 2025, due in part to hundreds of employees from another agency merging with StatsCan in 2023. The fear now is that service will decline.
When they have less people to be able to examine that data, to secure that data, it frightens me that, how reliable is that data going to be?
For its part, StatsCan says it's focused on continuing to deliver data the Canadians rely on.
The chief statistician was very clear in his remarks yesterday that our core mission-critical programs, for example, our key economic indicators, will remain as they are. That is a priority for the agency.
But union leaders say the agency is relied upon for more than just key economic indicators.
They might be concentrating on core data, but there's so many things that Statistics Canada does that Canadians don't see. That's very key to our future.
In the meantime, workers are on standby, wondering if they'll have a job in 2 years.
Waiting for those emails and waiting for those messages from our management to let us know which direction they're going.
Austin Lee, CTV News.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a local grade 8 student is in the early stages of a music career, writing and recording her own song. Scott Miller has more on the production process and the professionals helping her get started.
I don't know if high school really matters.
Maggie Grace has a very simple reason for singing.
I really like music because it's fun to do and it makes people happy.
Grace, who is just 13 years old, has turned her love of music and her family's musical connections into her first single and music video titled, I Don't Know.
The song is really about, as kids, not knowing all the answers to life, and it's okay to not know.
I don't know what love is.
Grace produced and recorded the single just north of Goderich at Beach Road Studios with Juno Award-winning music producer and sound engineer Siegfried Meyer. But the song was written with the help of family friend, Danish pop star Tim Shu, who says the 13-year-old Grace has a special skill for songwriting at such a young age.
It feels like she's got this invisible friend. You know how kids will have their invisible friends over to dinner or whatever? That's her songwriting and her songs for her, you know? It's, yeah.
Wow.
Maybe that's our next song, Invisible Friend, for her.
Meyer, who's worked with everyone from DMX to David Wilcox, believes Grace has what it takes to make it in the uber-competitive music industry.
I could definitely see her continuing on. She definitely has that spark that I rarely see in artists, really.
Vocal coach Harley Olivia is also a big fan.
To find someone who's so young and actually follows through and not only writes the song with music, but also goes to a studio, produces it, and has a listening party.
Grace's parents say they saw a gift for music early on in Maggie, growing up in Goderich.
Like, she's not one who hears music, she feels music.
It's really just what Maggie has really grown up enjoying and loving.
Grace doesn't know what the future holds for her, but is happy to have I Don't Know out in the world, and even more happy that she made it all happen 15 minutes from her front door.
I think it's very cool because knowing a lot of connections can be very cool.
Near Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.